Hey, what's going on? Wait for a few of you guys to get in here. Oh, nice. Very cool. I've always been a fan of that episode. One of my favorites, actually, from season 3. How's it going, everyone? Um, Thought I'd just hop on here, say hello. I haven't put a community post up for this, but I will put a community post for this before the end of the night. But today, if you guys were on Josh's Instagram, you would have seen that we finally had an acknowledgement from Oprah for Josh, after 20 plus years. So shout out to the, you know, um, uh, interviewer who was interviewing, um, you know, um, Oprah and brought up Drake and Josh are the GOAT for that. So, you can find out Josh's Instagram page if you want to go check that out. But, I will put a community post about that. I'll also put a photo as well, because obviously can't do videos on community posts. But yeah, how's your guys' day going so far? Guys got any questions or anything like that? Um, Feel free to drop them in. Drake and Josh related or whatever, within reason. I'm not giving my Instagram on here. I'm a private individual. I don't like to really put my name out, and I don't like to put my personal info out like that. So, will not be providing that here. But how is your guys' Monday going so far? Let's see, today is what, the 27th. So we're almost in August already. Feels like the light, like it's getting darker earlier. Feels like, before long it'll be the fall time, when you live in upstate, in the United States, whatever, like I do. You know, it unfortunately is very limited amount of summer that you actually see. Oh, that's a good question. Never really thought about that. Um, hmm, it's a good question. It's one that I certainly am not gonna. I don't have the brain power right now to really think about. But you know, that is a good question, though. Yeah, of course. You can bring Drake's very what's the word I'm looking for? Easy going. Anytime, you guys go to his shows and go to meet and greets, he will sign things. Just don't bring, like 10 things. I always bring a few things to get signed, but just don't bring, so much that he, whatever. I mean, I usually bring about, well, I wouldn't even want to say, but just, keep it short. But yes, you can bring stuff from home. He will sign it 99% sure. Of course, I can't ever say 100%, but he's very accommodating. And, as long as it's not anything, too um, whatever, he will more than likely sign it for you. I've done one of those too. I did hug me brother a little over a year and a half ago. I'm gonna say it really it depends on if he's up for it or not. That's a little bit more of a personal ask. So um, just just first of all, my first piece of advice is go easy on him. If he agrees to do it, don't put all of your strength into him because you could potentially hurt him. When I did it with him, I'm a big guy, so I told him beforehand I'd go light on him, and that's exactly what I did. But there's a 99% chance he'll sign anything you bring from home as long as it's appropriate. With the hug me brother, it's kind of a half and half. He may possibly do it, but the venue may not want it to happen. So it depends, but you can ask him and he'll see, and you can see if he wants to do it or not. But I would take that as a 50-50. So let's see. Um, what did I miss before? I don't know. Sometimes kids oversee things, Um, so you know, who knows why they didn't recognize, But I don't think that Drake and Josh will ever get a remaster. I mean, they can't even get the episodes out correctly. The only um company, which I've gave my thoughts before on Childhood DVD Fan about, um, is uh, you know um, Pluto TV. They're the only ones that have actually released most of the series, although they're like missing one episode um, from the last that I remember. Um, but there's like issues where there's some framing issues. There's stuff like that. So it's not a reliable source. There's better sources out there, in my opinion. But Pluto TV does have most of the series, except for last I saw one of the season 2 episodes, and then the Christmas movie was not there. But Go Hollywood, from what I remembered, was in there as well. I'm not Drake and Josh, so well, let's just make that very, very clear. I'm just a fan. It's literally it can't be more simpler. Drake and Josh super fan. So don't mistake me for any of the people on the show. I'm not any of them. But yeah, after this live stream, I will put up the link in the community post to the thing about Oprah. Acknowledging Josh after 20 years, and also, um, you know, uh, put a photo in there as well. So, okay, good. Anyways, no, um, I've never really been harshly judged for it, but honestly, you know, um, anybody who judges just doesn't understand. They're just too naive, in my opinion. So, if anybody clowns on anybody for that, it's laughable, in my opinion. I always say to people, whether it's this or anything else, whatever makes you happy, do, as long as it's not like intentionally hurting somebody, but if it's just a preference of something that you like, but it's completely safe, then what's the big hassle about? The world is already too messed up as it is, and mental health is at the highest it's ever been, in my opinion, with because people just don't know how to communicate to other people, and don't know how to express their feelings, I feel like, as much. So a lot of people just internalize a lot of their stuff in my opinion, you know, the stuff that they wrestle with, and they think that they have to be the only ones that have to figure out whatever's going on in their life. And, you know, it was hard for me for a long time to, you know, open up to, you know, my counselors and find people with therapy and whatever. So if anybody, you know, clowns on you for liking the show or anything like that, I just say, screw them. They just don't get it. They don't understand. And, you know, there's just, you know, it is what it is, you know, bullying is it's always kind of a sore subject for me because I went through it a lot growing up. But as I've gotten older, I've been the most happiest with being completely abnormal and not trying to fit any standard, because the standard, you know, quote unquote thing has no view in my book. So it is what it is. Yeah, but anyways, let me catch up here. So, do you think the widescreen Nick HT Battle of Panther will be found? I know that there's been some images of that, but I don't know regarding any of that stuff. I know that there was also like helicopter, really big shrimp. I really don't know when it comes to all that stuff. It's really completely lost media. It really is. Yeah, man. If you're happy, you know, with, you know, Drake and Josh Lloyd 101 iCarly, which, you know, I've been watching a shit ton of the original iCarly seasons 1 through 3, actually a lot lately on Netflix. But you know, just do whatever makes you happy, you know. Um, yeah, it was more than just the trolls. It had to do with a lot of them, still a lot of people in general still thinking that Drake is, you know, a predator, and you know, all this stuff when they haven't done their research into his case and everything. And I was just sick and tired of you know, having to read comment after comment, you know, of people who are misinformed and idiots and thinking that Drake is still this terrible, awful guy. Has he made mistakes in his life? Absolutely. We all have. But you know, people that just run with the narrative, you know, that the media, you know, put out there. So it was more than just, you know, troll comments for me. It was a lot of that shit too, and I was tired of having to read it and you know, whatever. Because in the beginning, I would try to argue with people, but I mean, it's been over 5 years since Drake's you know, 2021 thing, and I'm still seeing, you know, comments like that, you know, all over the place, whatever. So I threw my hands up a long time ago and I said, I can't fix stupid. I just cannot fix stupid. So, you know, I just do it for my own head personally, to, you know, not have to deal with those things. But you know, you know, me personally, of course, I was clowned a few times or whatever. But you know, that was whatever. But it was more of, you know, sick and tired of having to, you know, read all the comments about, you know, the Drake stuff, whatever. As far as that, I you know, that 2021 thing is so far out of my head. It's, you know, whatever. You know, Drake took responsibility for the minor things that he did do, and you know, he deserved a second chance, and I'm glad he got it. You know, I really am. So that's the primary reason why the comments are disabled. And if you've noticed, for some of the recent videos that I've done for Childhood DVD Fan, I've left the comments open for some of those videos. I haven't put all the comments back for my videos that I make on Childhood DVD Fan, but I have put some of the comments open for that. But for the Drake and Josh specific videos, those ones are still quite a while away because of what I just mentioned before. Hey man, how's it going? Appreciate you guys tuning in with me on this Friday evening. I'll be able to hang on for, you know, maybe around 20 minutes or so, depending on, you know, my engagement, who is still here in the live. Oh, you just woke up? Cool. I'll tell you what, you know, for the longest time, I used to not have, like, dreams, so many, like, multiple dreams a night, but, like, for, like, a couple months now, I've just been having all different kinds of dreams. I mean, it's a lot, you know. Um, a lot of people appear in my dreams that I've interacted with in my life and have some family members who are no longer here have appeared in my dreams, and old friends and former friends and all kinds of stuff. It's I know that, like they say, dreams are just what your subconscious is thinking of, or whatever that saying is. But yeah. um, um I don't think I've ever had a dream about either one of them. It's more so my family, my former friends, you know, uh, even a few neighbors. I don't know, just things like that. You know, but then again, a lot of weird shit too that I wouldn't even want to get into. But yeah, it's just like like I have at least three or four, every night. And also, another thing that I've noticed personally, for me, is when I'm having a dream, I know that means that I'm going to wake up soon and have to use the bathroom. It just, I always, anytime I dream, whatever, not too long after that, I'm waking up having to use the bathroom. So, you know, yeah. Uh, yeah. But, yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. For some of you maybe that haven't seen earlier, there was a long thing that was finally answered today with Oprah acknowledging Drake and Josh when she was asked on the streets for this interview thing. Um, I'll be personally honest with you. If you guys have seen that video on Instagram, I was pretty disappointed with how Josh reacted. Um, to that when he added his bit in there. I thought it could have been way better than it was, but it is what it is. No, Oprah didn't see Drake and Josh, but she was asked on the streets about Drake and Josh, and she you know made a comment. I'll try to see. I'll show you guys the video. So let me use my other phone here. And show you guys this video here. I just want to make sure that I do this in a correct and a safe way. Um, so let's see. I'm going to get this from my other phone. Hopefully it goes playing on a loop. Okay, good. All right, so I'll play this video for you guys in just 1 second. All right, we'll still go on a loop if I do that. So, okay, yeah, it will. All right, perfect. Okay, all right. All right, so let me get this ready. All right, I'll be showing this video to you guys in about 3 seconds, so just bear with me. All right, let me make sure the volume is up for this. Okay, all right. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Oh, do you know anything about like the Drake and Josh lore?
I hear that Josh likes me, and I don't even know why Josh likes me.
He was a good guy. It's a good thing, yeah.
I think that's the coolest thing. Thanks, Josh. Oh.
Do you know anything about like the Drake and Josh lore?
I hear that Josh likes me, and I don't even know why Josh likes me.
He was a good guy. It's a good thing, yeah.
I think that's the coolest thing. Thanks, Josh. Oh.
Do you know anything about?
So there you go. That's the acknowledgement of Oprah acknowledging Josh after 20 years or so. Over 20 years since the first time that she was mentioned in the show. So let me see. I can understand how that episode would make you scared as a kid. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, Treehouse is a common one. Yeah, I do remember that Keenan and Kel one. with Ron Harper and all that stuff. Yeah, it's getting more popular because syndication internationally, especially, has really helped the show explode more than because when the show was, on the air, it was mostly the United States demographic that, um, watched the show and everything like that. But then, it eventually made it to international in Mexico and all other different kinds of countries. And that's where it really started to pick up because obviously there were fans in the States and in America and still are, obviously. But, once it hit international, that's kind of when things just kind of took off for the show, and especially with, the fact that current media and current shows whatever just didn't hit with the audience as much as whatever, so they would turn to things that they did actually like, and that's just how the show really kind of went up, way more than its original run for sure. Yeah, LeBron going to the Sixers is interesting to say the least. I mean, I could go on about that for a long time, but you know, I've talked about it with a lot of friends. Whatever. It's not really something I want to revisit here. But yeah, I mean, Foam Finger pretty much is the one that I find the funniest. Maybe the Demonator is another one. I mean, that one, there's a lot of funny bits in that as well. Um, Uh, let's see. What are some other ones? Like maybe one or two. I know there were a lot of moments in Really Big Shrimp I really liked like that. And let's go with one maybe the earlier ones. I think Honor Council was another one that I liked a lot, and the affair, and all kinds of stuff like that. SMTH. I'm not even too sure exactly what that means. And I've watched Drake and Josh and Zoe 101 and iCarly and Victorious and Sam and Cat and the Amanda Show and Keenan and Kel and all that and all. I'm even not exactly sure at the moment what exactly that means, but oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, but that's how a lot of the show was written. Um, I think Josh's worst luck was in Theater Thug. That absolutely was his worst. I know a lot of people don't like that episode. I personally, uh, thought it was a good episode, a solid episode. Although there were times that really frustrated me. Um, Josh also had a lot of bad luck in the Christmas movie as well. But I would say probably Theater Thug because he kept getting arrested over and over again. Yeah. Yeah. I have taken a little bit of a look at the Google Drive that you sent me for some of that stuff. I read a little bit of it. I saw some differences, but yeah, that was cool that you sent me that. I appreciate that. Hopefully, we can find more of those. Because like when I got the bet script and the pool shark script from Dan, there were some differences in there. So I assume that pretty much most of those scripts had some differences, whether it was the writer's draft or the final one, even. But yeah, yeah, you're talking about the bet. So let me ask you guys this for those of you that are in here, and for a few of you that are in here, I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Out of the three TV movies, that being Go Hollywood, Really Big Shrimp, or the Christmas movie, which one is your favorite and which one's your least favorite? My favorite is Go Hollywood, and my least favorite, even though it pains me to say this, is the Christmas movie. Although I have the most nostalgia with the Christmas movie, but Go Hollywood's my favorite. The Christmas movie just, showed a change compared to the show, and the no laugh track, which was nice and everything, but it just didn't feel like Drake and Josh. It felt a little different. So yeah. And when I say least favorite, obviously you can enjoy each of them, but if you had to rank them, that's yeah. I can understand. All right, sorry guys, I had to answer a quick text. Um, Let me catch up on some of the stuff here. Interesting. Okay. Officer Gilbert, yeah. I actually still have his number because he was the one. He was one of the ones who did the video response series. And so David Pressman, the actor who was actually Officer Gilbert, was pretty cool. Although his video always kind of looked irritated, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah. I have a different kind of release for Go Hollywood, one of the international releases. I still have to get a lot of the international stuff as far as Drake and Josh on DVD, but I got everything that I needed to as far as every episode that you could access with Drake and Josh. One of them for the longest time that was on my bucket list was the Partners in Crime DVD, because that one had the Gary Grill episode on it, and I finally found a copy last year because my brother from another mother, Jeremy, who you guys know on here as Random Kid Entertainment or other usernames, got it, and then he eventually sold it to me. Although me and Jeremy kind of haven't talked in a while, but I'm not going to get into those reasons. No, I don't have either of their numbers. I have very limited, you know, uh, numbers, but I have a few. I do have a few celebrity numbers. But I did get in contact with Deegan, but he never replied to my messages. I asked him to be a part of the video response series, and he just never wrote back to me. But I would see that he would see my messages, so I had a lot of that with the video response series, and that irritated the shit out of me. When people would just read my messages and then not ever get back to me, that's very irritating, especially when it's free promotion for the actors or actresses, and I just don't really see a reason why not, but whatever. Not going to get into all that stuff. Yeah, my friend has tried to reach out to Lane, and Lane, never really got back to me. I tried to reach out to him, but he never got my message. But one of my friends has connections with him, tried to, go to the plate for me, but that wasn't successful, unfortunately. But, there's different things, that I'm not going to get into here personally that I'm very satisfied on. And something that did happen earlier this month was I met Ashley Eckstein at the NostalgiaCon. As I mentioned here before in a different live, she was really cool. And she was the one who played Susan on season one. Gave me about 6-7 minutes of her time. We got to talk about Drake and Josh and stuff like that. Um, and she was really, really cool, really sweet to me. So, it was definitely worth the drive because they didn't have anybody else there that I was really interested in seeing. I only went for her, but, I was very happy to go meet her. And, because that was one of the things besides Drake I always wanted to meet another person from the show in person. I didn't care if it was a one time person or whatever, because I've had connections online obviously and met a lot of people online, um, but in person I always wanted somebody besides just Drake, and I finally got that with Ashley. I do plan on trying to extend the series some kind of way, but I've had so many actors that read my messages and never replied back to me. And there's a whole different system on, compared to back in the day that made it way more complicated to get a hold of these people. So, who knows if I ever do, but I would love to one day. But yeah, in about 5 minutes, guys, I'm going to head out of here. I do appreciate you guys sticking in here. I have never seen that show. I've never even heard of that show before. So,